Hi. So this is the last day of Navratra, the 9 spiritual days of spring. The next Navratra will be in the autumn season. I tried my best to use these 9 days in something worthwhile because I did not have garlands and fresh flowers to offer to Devi. So I thought that I might use it in a good way by doing some research. So I'm here to talk about whether Kundalini exists. My word is definitely not the last one. It may just provide a perspective. I went through a lot of perspectives in these 9 days, and some of them really helped. I hope someday this perspective would help somebody, because if they are going through the same phase as I did 9 days earlier, I was not, I had the strange feeling of not believing anything, and I had started doubting everything all of a sudden. And Kundalini was also one of those things that I did not have faith in. I thought something that I can't activate may not just exist, because I did try. And some of my faculties, mental, logical, they are working well. In sometimes intuition, and I mean, I don't even want to talk about what's working well, what's not. But then obviously I haven't had the amazing, wonderful experience that some of those people who have described their have described as the process of awakening. So I started out with a complete blackout, whether it is really true or not. And the two things that came forth: first is, there are people, awakened people in the world, but they are very, very less. The examples of those people who have had their Kundalini awakened is much, they are much lesser than we are made to believe. So all those institutes where people touch your forehead and you shake and stir, that's just shaking and stirring of Kundalini. That's just that. Yeah, because all those, if you've studied Kundalini well enough, you achieve a mastery over a certain emotion and a certain desire that are connected to a particular chakra or vortex. You feel dissociated with certain things, and all those people who are new on this path already feel dissociated, already feel dispassion towards hungry chase of things. So taking money from people for elevating them is something that I may see in future as an okay thing. For now, I don't see that even the gurus have their chakras awakened or activated. How do you charge people? How do you take money for helping people? Help is help. Charge it for something else, providing them lodging, providing them some other kind of service, food, anything. But to tell a way so that the others feel liberated. Anyway, so as I said, it's a thing of future. I may see their point of view. So there have been sages and yogis and prophets from all religions, from all faiths, who have experienced this awakening. This awakening means their Kundalini got activated. It got, all chakras got active. So, and they have all described the experience in more or less the same way. There are excerpts from the scriptures, religious scriptures, that would prove that they are experiencing something on the same lines. The second proof is acupressure, which is now an accepted science. It may not have been some years back. Now people believe in it and they are benefited by it. It works on the principle of finding blockages in the biomagnetism and electric fields in the body. So it works. They recognize that there are two kinds of charges in the body, yin and yang, the feminine and the masculine charge. Now, this was developed in a wonderful way in some of the South Asian countries, and they really marketed it well. But similar thing came in India. The only thing is perhaps it wasn't spoken about. Funds were not put into it, so this science could not take off. This was Nadi Sanshodhan, which means Nadi is the conduit or channels, Sanshodhan is rectification. So Nadi, there are three kinds of Nadi, major Nadis, otherwise there are 72,000 or maybe more. Ida, Pingala, Sushumna. Ida is the negative, or one that is that a channel which is full of electrons. How do you see electrons? I don't know about what science books say, because I did not get a satisfactory answer. They just said negative charge. But it is the absence of charge. It's not that you would be restless when you will be active only when your tummy is full. You may be quite restless. You would be even more restless than a full tummied person if your tummy is empty. So this is the emptiness. Electrons are emptiness that want to somehow satiate itself, get charges, or somehow get stable. So Ida Nadi is connected through foot to the earth chakra, or earth provides that flow of electrons into Ida, which travels through our feet, then our legs, to our thorax region, where it flows in a conduit. And then Pingala is the Pingala or conduit or channel is the one with protons, positive charges. Now these are the charges, this is the force that we get from cosmos. So it doesn't travel from the foot to the head, instead it travels from head to the foot. And since they are running parallelly, they are constantly exchanging charges, so an electric field is created. And Sushumna is the middle one, is the neutral charge. It's like neutron, electron, proton, neutron. Sushumna is then like neutron and has immense energy, just like a neutron has the highest amount of energy. If you study the text of science, so you may already know it. You can also compare the whole thing, these channels, with a plug that has live wire, that has neutral wire that completes the circuit, so that electrons flow through the right live wire or hot wire, and they gets used up in a device, and the rest of it goes back through the source. But some of the static charge or clock charges, they also need to be gotten rid of. And therefore we have this green wire which does the earthing. So all the excess static clock charges flows into the earth, so that it does not flow through you, because if it flows through you, it will damage you, it will harm you. So I've still not come to the evidence. So all those countries where acupressure is quite popular, the eastern countries, southeastern countries, Korea, Japan, and even China. So I don't have the details, but you will find it on net. There was an experiment conducted by an acupressure practitioner. He put dye as in the color, like indigo, okay, dye in at the place where at the acupressure points, and then the CT scan was done. Now all those nadis or conduits or channels that were that have been never visible were suddenly visible, as though color was put into optical fibers. So that was conduit. That's a confirmation that these conduits, these subtle conduits or channels exist, right? So this is a proof that there is something there. You can't negate the existence of something that you can't see, because we can't see air, but we breathe in oxygen and we exhale gases as well. So all these things that can't be seen, electromagnetic waves, but our computers, our phones, they work on those waves. Now the next question that I came to was, okay, so we know what subtle conduits are, but what is exactly Kundalini made of? Kundalini means, Kundal means coil, and Kundalini is a feminine serpent. Alright, so she sits she sits over 3.5 coils and she faces downwards. Now, what does it remind you of? I could not find any answer anywhere, but the image that I was getting repeatedly when I closed my eyes was of a cotyledon. Cotyledon, yes, the seed. When the seed, which grows into a plant and plant grows into a tree, when it cracks open, when you put it in conducive environment, like enzymes are formed. When you put water on seed and you put it in soil, it cracks open, right? So if it has two ledons, it's, and the dicoty, I think it's called mono, I don't remember, okay, but cotyledons are these doors, okay, and these small little thing, this small little coily thing, can you see these? This is the radial and this is the plumule. I don't pronounce it right most of the times. So this would, the plumule will grow into the leaves and the radial would grow into the root. So this looks like this. Alright, this looks like this. The radial, the root part looks like this. And then when I put it in the search engine, I had just put embryo and I put Kundalini, and then I found certain papers that confirmed, if not completely, to a large extent, that this coil is the first trace of consciousness in an embryo. So when a male female eggs, they fuse, a zygote is formed, and then since it's rotating, anything which rotates, it disintegrates, right? So many cells are formed inside, right? And then the embryo starts taking shape. The first trace of conscious radial like structure, which would understand things, which would have the capacity of interpretation, is this. But later, of course, by after 3rd to 8th week, the brain starts forming, the proper brain with spinal cord, it starts forming. So this particular thing gets dormant. But when you do a lot of breathing exercises, this particular portion gets heated up. And if you've studied the laws of thermodynamics, electricity is produced when one end of a conduit is exposed to heat while the other is cool. So, and that's exactly what happens with a lot of pranayama or breathing exercise. This region, the thorax region, is warmed up. So this mouth of the serpent gets energy, it gets heated up, whereas the other portion, it wants to run away from that heat, so it rises up. And while it rises up, a a constant flow of energy is maintained. Electrons, protons are and electrons exchange. Electric field is created due to not Sushumna, Pingala and Ida. So when the serpent runs away from heat towards the cooler region, it rotates at various different points where there is clogging of lot of nadis or channels. It rotates and becomes transducers. Transducers are what we have in transistors. It catches frequencies. So when the snake reaches Mooladhar, it catches on the frequency for survival. When it reaches sacral chakra, it will become a transducer or catcher of frequency that connects to vibrations that can activate or elevate your uh, feelings connected to sacral chakra. When it reaches the point where you have your solar plexus, the one that is connected to ambition or lack of it, it'll get this particular nadi or optical fibers will become uh, like transducers or catchers of frequency that connects just to things that are connected to ambitions in the cosmic realm. So you're getting messages. Your mind may interpret it much later, but those chakras, the relevant chakras would interpret it perfectly. And that's exactly what happens with the heart chakra, throat chakra, agya or the third eye chakra, then sahasrara or the crown chakra. Now, one thing that really caught my attention was all those plugs where earthing is not done. There, the neutral wire is coated in, it is double coated. Similarly, since earthing is not taking place, as in we are not connected through a wire to earth, because then our mobility would be affected. So the all the energy in the earth wire stays inside the body for a while, and then it moves out through the crown chakra. So it also needs some coating. There are three coatings. The Sushumna Nadi has three coatings. First of the Vajra Nadi, which is the grossest, Chitrini, which is less gross, and the subtlest of which is Brahmanadi. Inside is inside is the movement. Inside is the movement of uh, Kundilini or the serpent. I guess this is pretty much it that I wanted to talk about. There's so many things um, that need to be told about this particular concept, but I guess I'll touch upon them later on. And I want to do something about, I want to study more of economics, because if I get too much into it, I know I would lose interest in everything else, because then I would just want to expand in this field. So I think it would be difficult for me to change lanes, but I guess I should do that. So that was end of Navratra for me, for us, and I hope Goddess liked what was created, or at least liked the effort. Bye. Vajrahasta